Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I skipped a fiddle tune in my last review, so this time I'm going to go ahead and do an entire tune. I am reviewing today a release from Skymember Presents called Isolated. So if you don't care about the fiddle tune, go ahead and fast forward to the review. It doesn't bother me. Go ahead and do it. This is a tune by Turlo O'Carolan called Hewlett's Waltz. I'm going to go ahead and play the whole thing. I think it's a really pretty tune. It was done by a blind Irish harpist and who used to tour around Ireland and make his living writing tunes. And this is one of those, very melodic tune. All right. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that tune. There is a relationship often, I think, between playing the fiddle and magic, is that it really takes time if you really want to do it well. It takes practice, and oftentimes you just have to slow down, work out the finger movements, and coordinate your hand movements, whether you're working with coins or cards or fingering on a fiddle. Very similar in those practices and disciplines, and I think they sort of go well together. All right, enough of me babbling on. You're really here for the review today, and it is Isolated. All right, Isolated is another any card at any number routine. Of course, there are a gazillion of those out there. If you already do an any card at any number, and this is card at any number, maybe you don't need a new one. It works fine for you. But if you don't have one, maybe this is something you want to look at. There are some issues that I really have here, and I know I say that frequently at the beginning of some of these, but there are some issues that I do want to address. All right, that's it. Let's go ahead and get into Isolated. Hello everyone, hope you're doing great. I'm FiddlinJonny, and today we're going to do Skymember Presents Isolated by Mr. Xuan. So it is an any card at any number routine, and specifically this is not any card at any number, it is a forced card at any number. So let's talk about it if you're not familiar with any card at any number routine before we get into this. So the effect is, and how it's done here, and I'll probably tack on a quick performance at the very end of this. Basically what you do is you show that the deck is completely mixed up. You have the spectator pick the back of a card, so they don't know what card they're picking. You then show the card what it is, and then return to the deck. The deck is then shuffled. The spectator picks any number that they want, the cards are dealt down to that number, and boom, lo and behold, the card that they had randomly chosen is in that position, and they can pick any number, which is not entirely true, but 99% true. Okay, so that's what the effect is. Now let's talk about what you're going to get. You're going to get 3 streaming videos. The first one is with Avi Yep and Ryan Go. And it's going to be 51 minutes in length. That's where the bulk of the tutorial is happening. It's going to give you the setup, all that sort of stuff. I think it's really, really good. You're going to get a second tutorial in there if you want to do it on a stage or parlor performance, and that's done by Calvin Liu, and it's called the Lottery Routine. and that is 24 minutes in length. I don't know what language it's done in. It's done, has English subtitles. I think Skymember Presents and AVI are between Singapore and Malaysia, so I'm not exactly sure what the language is, but it does have English subtitles. Worked fine for me, not a problem there, except for Skymember Presents. If you're listening, make the subtitles a little bit bigger next time. Older guys like me like the bigger font so it's easier to see. Still, not a problem, was able to get through it. And then the final portion is 3 minutes in length. I want to make sure I didn't forget Zach Ning also is part of the lottery routine. The final one is the setup. It's 3 minutes long, done by Avi Yep. And I said, wait, Avi does that in the first one. It was clear when they made the recording that they forgot some key things that you need to do to set up your deck. Which was interesting for me because as you get closer to the end of the 51 minutes, they start to talk about a couple things that they did with the setup, and I'm scratching my head and saying, they never mentioned that. And I went back and rewound. I was like, no, that's not there. So they actually had forgotten to include that in their initial setup, so they had to do this. My assumption is this additional 3 minutes where Avi talks about how to set up the deck properly. So you're going to get those 3 streaming videos, but let's really talk about what you care, what's in your hands, and what you're going to perform with. I love this little sort of, it's not technically a carrying case, but it should protect my cards. You're going to get USP-CC playing cards, bicycle back. They actually have the word isolated on there. I like that from a performance point of view, because if I'm out and I'm carrying lots of decks and I've got all my marking system on it, I can just look on the front of this one. It says isolated, and I know to pick up this deck. It is a gaffed deck. So here's what you're going to get. You're going to get a total of 56 cards in here. You're going to get 16 normal cards. You're going to get 36 gaffed cards. You're going to get, in addition to those that I just mentioned, you're going to get 2 regular jokers. And then you're also going to get an extra gaff card. And I'm just going to show you the gaff card. It's a 3 of clubs, but on the back, it looks like that. So that is the gaff card. And that is given to you just sort of as extra to come up with whatever routine you want to with that. That there's nothing really taught other than maybe like a snap change or something like that. Those are what you're going to get. You're also going to get an extra 3 of clubs, just so you know, revealing here. The force card is the 3 of clubs, and you'll receive 1 normal 3 of clubs in the deck. But if you're going to perform the effect, you're going to want to remove that 3 of clubs. At first I couldn't find the instructions. The instructions are actually on the top case here in itty bitty letters, so you're going to find the link to the instructional video along with the password for that. Okay, so let's talk about how the instructions are. Of the 3 videos, the first 2 are great. They're shot really nice and beautiful, mic'd well, closeness of hands, all that stuff is just fine. The third one, which is only 3 minutes in length, was clearly an afterthought, not shot in a studio. It's with Avi doing the setup of the cards. It's fine, but there's a lot of background noise. You hear a couple booms in the background, and we're like, what the heck is that? So that one was a little less. But at the end of the day, I got what I needed through the instructions to be able to perform it, and I felt like they were detailed well. I would actually add that I feel like Avi and Ryan have a great chemistry together when they're doing the tutorial. They complement each other really nice. You can tell that they both love magic. They're both very creative guys, and it's nice to sort of just see that on screen between the 2 of them. Each of them is, I think, a pretty unique performer. In fact, all 4 folks who are on this tutorial, you can tell have very unique perspectives and approaches to magic, and you can sort of hear that in their tutorials as they speak about how to perform with this deck. So I actually really liked it. It was an awesome part of this. I'm being really paused now, but stick around to the end because there are things that you need to know, I believe, that may determine whether you really want to purchase this or not. So, all right, I talked about that. The gimmicks are all great. Love the gimmicks. They're good quality. The United States Playing Card Company. They're printed really well. I like that. I'm going to talk a little bit about skill level here, and this is an area where I feel like I'm not as good as I used to be. I like to go with what Murphy's Magic says. It's distributed through Murphy's Magic, so you can get this through any Murphy's Magic retailer. On their web page, they say it is intermediate. I've been doing magic for too long that I'm no longer great with. We're like, is this beginner or not? Because a lot of times they think, oh, this is a beginner. Beginner could do this. But they do put it as intermediate. I will say with that, I think, you don't have to be a brand spanking beginner, but relatively new in Magic, and you can perform this. There's no knuckle busting moves. There's no real sleight of hand. All you need to do is know how to turn your deck at a certain point. When you spread and fan your cards, you need to make sure that you fan the right way rather than the wrong way. It's that sort of stuff. And then the choreography, when do I turn it this way and then spread? If you can handle that, you can do this. You could probably have it within 30 minutes and be able to perform it once you've memorized sort of the routining of how to spread and those sorts of things. So, and how you reveal when you turn over your card, which corner to go to turn over your card, those sorts of things. If you can do that, you're committed to doing that, it's fine for you. Okay, when I talk about the pros, any card at any number is just always a really strong effect. I think this one looks fair because they will feel like they randomly chose a card. They clearly randomly picked the number, and yet their card was there. And it will appear that for the most part, it's very little hands-on, and that would be difficult to go like, what are they doing to make that card at that number? So I think they've done a nice job creating the choreography for this routine to really take away suspicion that the cards are gaffed. And that's a major plus, I think, in terms of how they put this routine together. All right, so here's what you really need to know. If I were you sitting on the other side of this screen, what I would care about, the first thing you have to ask yourself, do you need another any card at any number? If you've already got an any card at any number, I don't know that there's a need to get this, unless, of course, you collected any card at any number routines. But if you are looking for an any card at any number routine, I think a question you first want to ask yourself, do you want to do one that involves gaffs or one that is gaffless? So if you say, yes, I'm fine using one that's with a gaffed deck, then this is really worthy of considering. I think it's a really good product, and you'll get what you probably desire in terms of a strong effect with a routine that you can do. Some of the cons, though, that you need to know is that, will you be able to hand out this deck? The answer is no. Do they allow in the tutorial the spectators shuffle some of the cards? Yes. Would I do that? Probably not. They also put an ad copy that the spectator can turn over the card. Would I do that? Not in a million years. They teach you how to do that. I think it's extremely weak, and I would highly discourage it. But so you need to know that. So if you're thinking about it and you're looking at the ad copy, you're going to be revealing the card. You're not going to be handing the card to the spectator. The spectator's not going to be able to look at the deck afterwards. Those may be major cons for folks. All right. Also, it says in their ad copy, it says, commercial rights are reserved for isolated routines, including TV and web shows. Contact Skymember Presents. I think that's nuts for a routine that's been around for a long time. A method in here that I'll talk about in a little while that has existed for over 100 years. And how can you say that you reserve the rights for it? I think that's a little bit nuts. So if you're somebody who's performing and you're going to be on TV or doing web shows, I have no idea how they'll be able to enforce that, and I don't think it's enforceable. That's my personal opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but I will play one right here, right now. Ad copy also says it's a masterclass. Can we just stop using the term masterclass in all of our releases? I do not consider this a masterclass. It's nice that you get, about an hour and a half worth of tutorial, and the tutorials are really good. Masterclass? I don't think so. That's my issue I have with ad copy these days. If you work with blue back decks, these only currently come in red bicycle back decks, so something for you to consider. There's only one force card, which is the 3 of clubs. It'll always be the 3 of clubs. That is true out of all of the decks that they're currently selling, from what I understand. I'll add one other con, and this is a major con. And it is not dealt with well in the tutorial at all. There is a chance that they may pick the wrong number. If they pick the wrong number, meaning that it's not their card, then it doesn't teach how you do that. You know that you have 16 regular cards in this deck, so you have 16 numbers that they could possibly pick that could be the wrong number. They do briefly address in terms of how they do a spread and how they address like pick a card, which decreases the chances that they're going to pick one of those 16 cards. But it's not foolproof, and they should have had an out in that scenario and taught it on the tutorial, and they do not. So that is kind of, in my opinion, it's close. It's not a fatal flaw because the routine will work, but it's something for you to consider in terms of your skill level, and I think an intermediate magician would be able to handle that just fine. All right. I think I mentioned another con. You can't repeat this. You can only do it once and then that's it, because it would be the same force card each time. All right, so I would add, here's another thing that's a major problem, especially when I talked earlier about reserved rights. This looks identical, and I don't know that it is exactly, but it looks like the method is similar to or exactly the same as the Monte Cristo deck, also Mastermind deck by Chris Kenworthy. It looks very similar to Brent Braun's Position Impossible. So I know of at least 3 other releases using a method that is either the same method or the variation on this method, and they do not give credit at all to those who came before them, and then they reserve the rights for performance, which I think Skymember presents. You have to really seriously reconsider what you're doing here in terms of some of those things. It is not good business, I think, within the Magic community. All right, who's gonna like this? Any card magician, anyone who loves any card at any number routines. If you do close-up or stay or parlor, I think this is going to be fine for you. The cost is, in the United States dollars, it's $39.95. If you go over to the UK, you go Merchant of Magic. On their website, it's £38.35. So that's the cost. I think that is the going price these days for gaffed decks in this type of a routine. I personally am starting to push back at that price point. I think that at almost 40 US dollars, I get it that the gaffs are good, but I want a stronger tutorial. And the tutorial in this was really good. Don't get me wrong, and you'll get what you need to be able to perform this really well. But at the price point, I think it's just a hair expensive. I'd like to see it come down closer to $30 United States dollars, but that's me in a personal opinion. I'll probably still buy things at this price point, however, but that's my thinking. All right, I hope this is helpful. If you've purchased it or you do an ACAAN, let me know which ones you really like. Do you like to do gaffed or non-gaffed versions? And any of your thoughts. My favorite part of this channel is actually interacting with you, responding to comments, hearing what your thoughts are, and sometimes just you saying hi. I really like that and appreciate that, and it is a part that brings me joy in doing this channel. So if you haven't commented before, leave a comment. All right, subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel up, and it helps if I have subscribers. If you choose to subscribe, thank you. I appreciate it. If you can, at least go ahead and hit the like button as well. It is always appreciated. It helps to boost my review channel to make sure that it gets recommended to other magicians. All right, thanks you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick demo of Isolated. I'm going to do it without a spectator, but I want you to see sort of what the handling looks like. So you can go ahead and freely take out your cards, discard your box, and go ahead and show to your spectator that all the cards are indeed different. It's nice. You can really freely spread here, that, you know, they can see the cards. All right, so once you've done that, let's go ahead and have them pick a card. I'll do the spread, and they can go ahead and pick whichever card they want. You'll ask them to go ahead and poke it out like that. Let's go ahead with that one there. You're going to square up your deck. One thing I've learned is you want to make sure that when you square up your deck, you keep it nice and clean. You go ahead and show the card, or to them, of course. So the 3 of clubs is the card they have chosen. You can go ahead and square it up in the deck. Now once it's squared up, you're going to ask your spectator to cut the deck, so they can cut the deck wherever they want.
At that point, you're going to go ahead and have, or at least I will in this scenario, faro my cards together. It's nice you can freely show your cards there. And let's see how well I can faro. All right. There we go. Faro the cards together. It looks like we've got a pretty good, about half and half there. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and just spread the cards. You can freely show that all of the cards are indeed shuffled and mixed up in there. All right, so once that's done, sorry it's not in full frame, but able to spread the entire deck there. From there, you're going to ask your spectator to go ahead and pick a card. And in this case, let's say 12. So count down 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this is the 12th card, and you can go ahead and flip over the 12th card, and it will be their chosen card. All right, that is isolated quick demo. Let's go ahead and get in and see the review.